They buried me 3 years ago. My name printed in newspapers, my face framed at a funeral I never attended. And while everyone cried and moved on, the people who destroyed my life celebrated in silence, because what they never realized was that I wasn't dead. I was watching, listening, and preparing. Because when someone betrays you so completely that survival becomes impossible, sometimes the only way to win is to disappear. Let them feel safe, let them believe the lie, and then return not as a victim, but as the consequence. Before everything collapsed, my life looked flawless to anyone watching from the outside. A rising career, a loving fiancé, trusted business partners, and a future that felt secure. But perfection is dangerous because it makes you stop questioning, and that was my first mistake. I ignored the small signs at first. Contracts finalized without my approval, late night meetings I wasn't invited to, subtle comments suggesting I step back and rest. Every concern brushed off as stress or paranoia. And when I pushed harder, the tone changed. My fiance became distant, my partners became defensive, and suddenly I was being painted as unstable in rooms I wasn't allowed to enter. The deeper I looked, the uglier the truth became. My name was being used to shield illegal transactions, my digital signature copied, my authority quietly stripped away, while I remained the public face. And when I confronted them, I didn't see fear or regret. I saw relief because they had already planned their escape. The night of the accident wasn't random. It was convenient. A coastal road, bad weather, a fire that erased evidence, and by morning the police had closed the case, declaring me lost at sea. But what no one knew was that I had suspected this outcome weeks earlier. I had backed up files, recorded conversations, and prepared an exit that would leave no trace. Because once I realized I wasn't just being betrayed, but set up, survival became strategy. Letting the world believe I was dead gave me something priceless: invisibility. And as they mourned publicly and celebrated privately, I watched from afar as the people I trusted rewrote history, stepping into my role, using my ideas, and building their success on the lie of my death. And if you've ever felt something was wrong in a life that looked perfect, trust that instinct, because curiosity is often the first warning sign. And if this chapter pulled you in, like the video and subscribe, because the truth only gets darker from here. For 3 years, I lived without an identity. No past, no digital footprint, no emotional attachments, just quiet observation, while the people who betrayed me lived loudly. My former partners expanded the company using my stolen work, praised as visionaries. My fiancé married quickly, smiling for cameras, living in a house built with money siphoned through accounts that carried my name. And the shock wasn't just that they moved on, it was how easily they erased me, how my death became a footnote instead of a tragedy. And that erasure burned deeper than anger, because it proved how disposable I had always been to them. I spent those years learning, not out of obsession, but out of necessity. Law, finance, cyber forensics, every system they thought was too complex to be questioned, I watched. Their habits, their weaknesses, their arrogance grow. Because people who believe they've won stop being careful. They talked openly, deleted emails sloppily, hid money in patterns they assumed no one would trace. And slowly, piece by piece, I rebuilt myself into someone they couldn't recognize. Not the woman they manipulated, but someone patient enough to wait for the exact moment when exposure would hurt the most. The shock wasn't discovering their crimes. It was realizing how intentional everything had been, how my love was used as leverage, my trust as camouflage, and my death as closure for their guilt. But the longer I stayed invisible, the clearer one truth became. Revenge without precision is chaos, and chaos always favors the guilty. So I waited, collected evidence, and prepared a return that wouldn't rely on emotion, only facts. Because when the truth arrives with proof, there is nowhere left to hide. And if watching betrayal unfold like this makes your chest tighten, stay with me, like this video and subscribe, because the reckoning is finally coming. I returned on the anniversary of my death. Not with drama, not with confrontation, but with legal filings that landed simultaneously, freezing accounts, triggering investigations, and exposing a web of fraud so detailed it dismantled everything they had built in a single day. They didn't see me at first. They felt me, in boardrooms filled with lawyers, in phone calls that stopped returning answers, in reputations collapsing under evidence they couldn't explain away. And when they finally saw me, alive, composed, and undeniable, fear replaced confidence instantly, because the dead aren't supposed to walk back with proof. My former fiancé tried to speak, my partners tried to negotiate, but betrayal doesn't deserve explanation, it deserves consequence. I didn't raise my voice, I didn't accuse, I simply existed, and that existence shattered the lie they had depended on for years. Watching them lose everything wasn't satisfying in the way movies promise. It was quiet, heavy, and final, because justice doesn't roar. It closes doors. And the lesson I learned is this: disappearing didn't make me weak, it made me powerful. It taught me patience, clarity, and the value of truth over revenge. Survival isn't about winning loudly, it's about reclaiming your name, your agency, and your future on your own terms. So if you've ever been betrayed, erased, or underestimated, remember this: sometimes the strongest move is stepping out of sight until the truth is ready to stand on its own. And if this story stayed with you, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay connected, because some stories aren't fiction, they're warnings.